Well, good afternoon and welcome to our webinar number 4 on SCIP Dossier submission, where we'll discuss unfolding and mitigating roadblocks to SCIP's dossier submissions. Next slide. First, an agenda. Today we'll do a brief overview of SCIP. We'll discuss their latest updates. We'll walk you through the data requirements, along with some tips on do's and don'ts for faster SCIP dossier submissions. We'll discuss some of the roadblocks and rejections that we've encountered as we have been working within SCIP. We'll discuss how to automate your SCIP dossier submissions. And finally, we'll wrap up with a conclusion. Next slide. A little bit of housekeeping today. Everyone but our speakers are muted at this time. The meeting is being recorded and will be shared after the session. And we will offer a brief survey at the webinar and ask that you kindly fill that out. In the meantime, if you have questions or comments, please feel free to use the comment section of the webinar, and we will get back to you and answer those questions after the end of the session. Next slide. And so our speakers today are myself, Ken Ingram. I've been in the automotive industry for a little over 40 years now. Ms. Karen Strobel, who's been in supply chain for over 35 years, and Mr. Sri Venakata, who heads up everything regulatory for the last 15 years here at APA Engineering. Next slide. And who are we? We are a global company, ISO certified, with over 350 customers working for over 20 years in compliance, engineering, sourcing, and turnkey software solutions for things like IMDS, REACH, ROS, and now SCIP. Next slide. Let's take a quick poll. Now to walk us through an overview of SCIP and provide us with our latest updates is Ms. Karen Strobel. Karen, take it away.
Thank you, Ken. I appreciate that. Next slide, please. Now let's talk about what is SCIP. SCIP is Substances of Concern in Products, and it is a database that houses information about a variety of articles that may contain or do contain substances of very high concern, or SVHCs. The SCIP database was established under the ECA Revised Waste Framework Directive, and it aims at a circular economy, meaning that we are looking at ways to improve our overall health and environment across the globe in all the products that we produce and use. The database is designed for 3 purposes. 1, to help waste operators in getting information on how to properly sort and recycle any articles that contain SVHCs. It is also designed to help in educating consumers to make informed choices about these articles and how to properly dispose and recycle them. And also it can help in looking for alternatives to SVHCs and finding better and safer ways to produce the same articles. Note that the SCIP database was officially launched on January 5th, 2021, that's this year, and it was for the EU market, any products within the EU market. Next slide. So if you have an article, which is any kind of product that may contain 0.1% weight over weight of a substance of very high concern, you need to evaluate whether or not this article needs to be registered with the SCIP database. Any EU producer, importer, assembler, or distributor should consider looking at their articles and determine whether any of them have SVHCs, and they would be in scope for registering with SCIP. Next slide. For items that are out of scope, though, if the items are sold and produced solely for use outside the European Union, you do not necessarily need to worry about registering in the SCIP database. If the item after January 5th, 2021 was no longer sold in the EU marketplace, you do not have to be concerned about registering in SCIP. If the item was only repaired and not supplied within the EU market, you do not need to be concerned with SCIP. And then there are certain exemptions for defense and security interests where the articles may not have to be registered for SCIP in order to expedite delivery. Next slide. So there are some situations where suppliers or manufacturers that are outside the European Union may need to help in registering for SCIP requirements. This is mostly for EU importers and distributors of products. So in those cases, the non-EU supplier can make a submission on behalf of the importer using the foreign user concept. And also this enables the ability to share SCIP data across companies so that they can collaborate and not have to duplicate work efforts across different areas. Next slide. And now there have been some new updates around SCIP, and it's important that we share those with you. Next slide. These updates include that there are over 5 million SCIP dossiers that have already been received, and that was as of January 11th, 2021. ECHA will continue and start publishing the data on its website in the coming months. Now the news. There have been 2 new substances added already to the SCIP database. And this makes the list a total of 211 different SVHCs that you must review. So if you've already submitted your SCIP dossier, you need to consider these 2 new items. By the way, every 6 months, ECHA will be reviewing this candidate list for SVHCs and revising that list. So this needs to be a regular routine process for your company to review the new items or any new changes in SVHCs every 6 months and make sure that your dossiers are properly updated. The 2 substances that were added are commonly used in inks, toners, plastics, and rubber tires. So if you use any articles in those areas or possibly outside those areas, you may want to revisit your SCIP dossier soon. Next slide.
Well, thank you, Karen, for that overview and updates. And now to walk us through the data requirements, some challenges, and give us tips on do's and don'ts, please welcome Shri. Shri?
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Karen, for the wonderful insights on the latest SCIP updates. Now I'm going to walk you through about the SCIP data requirements and their challenges. SCIP defines the article into 2 types. 1, a complex object, and 2, article. As shown in the chart, a complex object may have multiple complex object or articles that contain SVHCs. For example, a bicycle is a complex object that has further complex objects such as wheel assembly, tire assembly, inner tubes, etc., as shown in the picture. As my colleague Karen stated, due to the recent addition of 2 SVHCs, if the part is made up of either plastic or rubber, like in tires or tubes or handlebar grips, in this example, the probability of having these 2 new SVHCs is high, and the customers must go back and check with their supply chain on these 2 SVHCs presence. This to and fro communication with the suppliers can be avoided every 6 months whenever the SVHC list gets updated if we get the full material declaration, that is also called as FMD, that will have the complete substance details. So when we get details from the suppliers, we need to ask for the hierarchy if it is in a complex object. Next slide. While collecting the data or compliance details from the suppliers, customer need to be little careful in asking the complete details at a time. Otherwise, it may lead to and fro communication from supplier. So in order to create the SCIP dossier, it requires certain parameters that needs to be obtained from your suppliers or maybe from your in-house team. The SCIP dossier has got 4 different sections: article identification, safe use instructions, complex object, component, and concern element sections. Altogether, we have 24 attributes, even though there are 11 attributes that are mandated to be filled and which are required to be collected from your supply chain or from your in-house team, which we will be covering in the subsequent slides. The first section is called article identification, which has got 4 mandatory fields. Article name is the name of the article, such as handlebar grip. Primary article identifier is the part number or the reference number. In the article category, which is also called as tariff code or customs definition code, one must choose from a huge pick list of 20,000. The last one is in this section is production in the EU. It has got 3 options: yes, no, not willing to disclose. As said, the article category is a 20,000 plus pick list, and it is a challenging and daunting task to identify and identify the correct tariff codes. One needs to do proper homework to identify them unless tariff codes are not identified earlier. Next slide. The next section is safe use instructions. The user can attach the safe use instruction as an attachment or as a free text. This is the core of the waste frame directive. At the end, when the operator dismantles it, they need to have the safe use instructions, not only from the waste recycling operators, even from the consumer point of view. At one point of time, maybe 6 months from now, ECHA is going to publish all this data on their web, where there will be separate details that are available for recyclers and separate details are available for the consumers. So there the safe use instructions are mandatory. As a minimum, the user must tick the checkbox. No need to provide safe use information beyond the identification of candidate's list of substance. Next slide. This section is called as complex object components. This is applicable to the complex objects. The attribute linked articles need to be filled as per the hierarchy. As an example, linking the tires and the inner tube articles to the complex object called wheel assembly. Maintaining the hierarchy is a challenge here, especially when it comes to the large or extremely complex objects such as machine, car, excavator, etc. Next slide. This section has the concern element. Again, it talks about the SVHC details here, in which there are 3 mandated fields to be filled. The candidate list of substance, that is name of the substance, concentration, and material category. From the last 90 days when we started working with our customers, our experience is that some of the suppliers are not sharing the concentration range or material category, or some even do not want to share the SVHC substances name even. So in such case, it is a big challenge to the customer, and the customer should insist the supplier on the importance of this legal requirement and ensure they get them. Next slide. Tips, do's and don'ts in the subsequent slides. Next slide. Here we are presenting the consolidated techniques, do's and don'ts shared by ECHA over the last 3 months. First, please remember the O5A principle: once an article, always an article. The SVHC must be reported at the article level, not at the material level. Second, it is always recommended to make your supplier submit the SCIP dossier and refer them in your SCIP submission. That will make your job easy as well as the whole process sustainable. And if your supplier updates the SCIP dossier, it gets automatically updated in all of your SCIP dossiers. ECHA is calling this feature as a referencing. When it comes to the distributors, ECHA has also provided another concept called simplified skip notification. In short, it is SSN, where the distributor can simply upload a spreadsheet with their part numbers and the respective manufacturer registered skip dossier numbers in a bulk way for all the parts that he's selling in the EU. Next slide. Third, use the concept of grouping wherever possible and reduce the hierarchy length. If a manufacturer is making O-rings of several diameters, if the composition is same, the material composition is same, they all can be grouped and made it as a single skip dossier. Similarly, ECHA recommends not to have a lengthy hierarchy tree. The left side picture has got 10 layers, but ECHA recommends having a maximum of 3 layers as shown in the middle picture. ECHA also recommends that the maximum lines in a skip dossier to be limited to 1000. Next slide. Excuse me. For a complex object, ECHA recommends having disassembly instructions instead of a lengthy hierarchy tree structure to identify exactly where the SVHC is located. Fifth, always add safety instructions as much as possible. Again, it is the core of WFD directive. Example instructions include wear a mask, gloves, and while recycling. Sixth, select the article category as close as possible instead of the generic ones. Example, a car bumpers, the first code is a specific code instead of a generic code that is parts and accessories, the second code. Seventh, provide additional optional characteristics, even though those are not mandatory, but it is recommended to have those entered for better identification, such as diameter, color, density, length, width, height, etc. Next slide. It include the brand model in the other names in addition to the article name. Example, Toyota Yaris GR. Toyota is the brand, Yaris is the model, GR is the variant. Ninth, include the public identification. Example, European, article number, EAN, catalog number in the other identifiers in addition to the primary article identifier. For example, 3M, for a 3M abrasive cloth, a catalog number is MMM03131. 10th, last but not the least, ensure all the SVHCs are declared at the final article level. Example, a boron and lead used in the glass. Next slide.
Thank you, Shri. And now we'll share some of our learnings from our experiences working in the SCIP database. Next slide. Remember that the parent and child part number should never have the same primary article identifier. They should always be unique. Most customers have used their part number or catalog number for their primary article identifier, while some have chosen the other option, causing manual entry in the adjacent text box, and this can be very time consuming. Next slide. Although almost a third of our dossiers we have worked with have not been in English, we need to remember that SCIP only accepts English letters and characters. Anything in non-English will cause it to have a rejection. And if the same article is repeating in a complex object at different levels, it must always properly link to the parent. Otherwise, this will also cause a rejection due to duplication. Next slide. And remember, for those of you who are IMDS registered companies, although IMDS has postponed their release 13, you can still begin working on your submissions now just to get ahead of the submission schedules. Next slide. And now back to Shri for conversations around automating your submissions of your SCIP dossiers. Shri?
Thank you, Ken. There are two ways of making a SCIP dossier: the manual method using the iCloud Cloud and the automated method using the ECA submission portal. Coming to the manual method, the SCIP dossier can be created only one at a time, and it is not possible to preset the attributes. And we also felt iCloud is slow, and it is we have experienced it is very slow in the EU working hours. It is not recommended for longer structures and multiple submissions. It takes much of your time and effort. Coming to the automated method using third-party software, which enables bulk submissions in a very, very quick way. API has a software called GreenCheck. It has the ability to preset the attributes and extremely fast and recommended for the long structures and multiple submissions. Next slide. GreenCheck is an online software solution from APA with multiple product chemical compliance modules such as REACH, SCIP, ROS, Prop 65, and it can also manage other chemical regulations. It has two different types of login, the customer and the vendor login. Customer can survey the vendors for SCIP, REACH, ROS data, and vendor has to fill it out ideally in the GreenCheck. Even if the vendor cannot fill in the GreenCheck, API has standard Excel template where customer can share them with the vendor and vendor can fill out, and those can be uploaded by customer on the supplier behalf. Next slide. GreenCheck SCIP module accepts all sorts of data, including the Excel, IPC 1752A, PDF, .i6z files, etc. It has a supplier survey module, bulk dossier, and automated emailing method. The software can be customized to the customer specific needs whenever if a customer is looking for changes, and it is possible to integrate with your ERPs. API offers the complete end-to-end services for SCIP submissions. Using the GreenCheck SCIP module, API has submitted over 30,000 dossiers in the last 45 days. It is trusted by 25 plus customers, especially the GreenCheck module customers, including the major OEMs, and API has provided the turnkey solutions for them, and API can provide a turnaround solution within 24 hours. So in fact, using our GreenCheck module, we have submitted 7,000 SCIP dossiers in a matter of 3 hours of time frame. Next slide. All that GreenCheck requires is the SCIP system to system keys, wherein the company can request ECA for those keys from the secondly, the mandatory attribute details in any form, maybe in text, Excel, Word, etc. Next slide. The process we're demonstrating here. On the left side, we have the inputs that are needed for the GreenCheck. They can be in any format. It can be a full material declaration such as IMDS or IPC 1752, a Class D format, or we can survey using, one can survey using the SCIP module with the suppliers. We can push the data through a standard API Excel template, or even if the customer has got their own template of collecting the data, that can even be pushed by writing few rules. So once the data is pushed to GreenCheck, one can enter any missing info. For example, maybe a tariff code or material category. We can add it. if required. And for European suppliers, or wherever they have obligation to submit the SCIP dossiers, they can submit the dossier directly to SCIP. And for non-European suppliers, or supply chain, they can download the .i6z files and share them across to their customers. Finally, all the SCIP numbers will be stored in the green check, and even the reports can be downloaded. Excuse me. Next slide. This is another way of another process flow. The advantage of automation is being shown here. So green check can handle on the top P1, P2, P3, P4. That shows the number of plants. So far we worked with one customer where that customer has got 30 different plants. As per the legal requirement, every plant is required to submit their own SCIP dossier, so they cannot combine it. So all the plants, we can have multiple plants, and multiple plants can share the data in different formats, be it in Excel, PDF, or IMDS, or XML, whatever. All that goes to green check, and from there, we can select whichever plant that we wanted to push it. From there, with a matter of click, it automatically goes and sits into ECA database. So it can handle multiple plants, multiple legal entities, and in different formats. Next slide. This is a sample screenshot of a green check. On the left side, you can see an induction motor from our SCIP module, and on the right side, you can see the same structure. It can be pushed instantaneously using our APIs. Next slide.
Well, thank you, Shri. And now to wrap up. Next slide. Remember that SCIP became effective the 5th of January of this year. That's just a few weeks ago. It is a legal requirement to register any articles that you have where the substance of very high concern is greater than 0.1% weight over weight of the article in the SCIP database. As we've seen, many companies have already started submitting their dossiers. Some have even finished, and will need to re-review as new article or new substances of high concern are added. When you have multiple legal entities, roadblocks can come up. Data collection from your suppliers can slow you down. The slow ECA cloud can slow you down. So it's recommended to start as soon as you can. And even though the member states have not yet issued any penalties for non-compliance, don't risk your business and wait. And for those of you who are IMDS registered companies, remember, you can start your submissions now. And for all duty holders, we recommend that you act immediately if you have not yet begun to start. Next slide. APA offers turnkey software for compliance in many areas, including conflict minerals, MDS, REACH, RoHS, now SCIP, California Prop 65, and we offer up a nice little package on can it be sold for other regulations within the US. Next slide. Just a few of our customers that you may recognize, people like Hannah. And this concludes our webinar for the day. Goodbye.